When do we add this?
The expired MSG? We're not adding that. Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
This is Arthur, if you don't know. Here's a label of Arthur and some pictures of him. Tonight on the show, I'm gonna teach you how to make Chana Saag. And also maybe Aloo Matar, but it might be a different episode. It's a different episode because we need content. And I can't cook and hold the baby at the same time. I haven't learned that skill yet. So I have to say bye-bye or say hello, either one. No. Okay, Chana Saag. Chana Saag. Our first step today is we're gonna grab a beer. I'm having a Rheingeist Cave Bear. Cheers. Okay, we've made saag paneer before. We made like vegan saag paneer too, right? Yeah, with tofu. So it wasn't paneer, it was saag tofu. And really the only thing different this time is chickpeas instead of cheese or tofu. But I'm gonna wing it from memory on like kind of how to make this dish. So who knows if it'll turn out. I can't really concentrate on anything anymore. Okay, got a pan. There's the pan. I think I'm gonna aspire to make this dish vegan. It's like so close to being vegan, like why not? You could put butter in it, but you don't need to, I guess. All right, so I got coconut oil. Coconut oil. I'm gonna use a lot of it. So while that's going, I'm gonna chop a red onion. Courtney and Arthur are watching Bluey, so if you hear stuff in the background, that's what it is. Bluey's a great show, by the way. It's like one of those popular opinions that is true. Bluey is good. You can't argue with it. It just is. All right, there's my onion. What else are we gonna do? I got some ginger. Okay, there's some ginger. Okay. All right, so we are gonna fry the cumin seeds. I'm gonna be pretty lazy with the spices today, but you know, the more whole spices that you use, the better. They have a better flavor. So probably like a couple teaspoons of cumin seed. Then we're gonna fry them until aromatic. You can see I'm using a relatively modest heat there, so it's not like it's not cracking or popping. I'm chopping my gingerlic, whatever the hell this is. I'm gonna get my onions going. We've got a nice color on the cumin seed. I'm using canned tomatoes today, and the reason for that is you need like a pretty ripe tomato for the ideal texture that we're going for today, and I don't want to chop anything else. And I think it's just like one of those things, like it's, you know, this is part of your curry base. There's no real advantage, I think, to using fresh tomatoes in this context. So like, you might as well use 10. You can use crushed, pureed, whatever. I've got Petite diced, which you can see are petitely diced. I think it'll be just fine. So I'm gonna sizzle these for a little bit. It's always gonna take longer than you want when you're cooking these onions. I might turn the heat up a little bit. And I will talk about what else we're gonna do. So I'm gonna use frozen spinach today for my chopped spinach. And I'm gonna use the rest of this bag of fresh spinach. We're gonna use canned chickpeas, we're gonna use coconut milk. We're gonna use a chili, and I actually, using my brain, froze some chilies this year, and I've been using them. That's a big step for me in life, is preserving things and then using them from the freezer. But in like these kind of applications where you're like, I need one chili and I'm gonna cook it down. It's like perfect. Like this little chili I grew, it's perfect for the day. And it won't be too spicy, don't worry, John. So my onions are starting to get pretty brown, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic and ginger and some bonus onions that just made their way in. And I think that's all I'll do for now. I'm just gonna let that, we'll let that open up for just like a minute, just a quick minute. We don't want it to burn or anything. Turn the heat down just a little bit. And then we're gonna add in some of our tomatoes. Just like that, I use about half the can, and we'll stir that up and let it simmer together. And if you wanted to like add additional spices at this time, you could. Probably better to do that before the tomatoes, but we'll keep this one a little more on the simple side. And I believe one of the ways you can tell with the masala if it's getting to where it needs to be is that oil starts to like separate on the sides. So I will say this needs a little bit more time because I'm kind of like bringing it together. But you look on like the outside of the masala, you can start to see that oil come out like so. So this could go a little bit longer. It'll definitely taste better if we let it go longer. So while that's going, I'm gonna prep some other ingredients. All right, we got some good browning on the masala. Our oils are starting to separate. I am going to add a little bit of curry powder. That's gonna be kind of our shortcut today. Curry powder into the masala. Give that a quick minute. Now it smells amazing. And I will go ahead and add my fresh spinach. It's going to take a little bit of time to kind of wilt. And we'll get the chopped spinach in there momentarily. And so I'm kind of using the spinach liquid to deglaze the pan a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pop in my frozen spinach. Oh, isn't that lovely looking? The greenest Venus. Oh, there's a little open-y thing that I missed. And we will incorporate this as well. We're steaming over here. I'm gonna let that melt. Might actually go a little faster if I added some liquid. So I'm gonna do that next, I think. All right, so what I'm gonna do, because I need to get some liquid going, I got my can of chickpeas, they're already cooked. That's the Chana in the dish name. I'm just gonna add the liquid of the can, and I'm gonna crank the heat and let that simmer together, and then we'll come in with an immersion blender to work on the texture. You can see the frozen spinach is largely broken up. I probably should have put this into the dish earlier, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that into the spinach, which is getting pretty close to the point where we can use either a blender or an immersion blender. And even though it takes more dishes, I think I'm gonna use the blender today because it's just the play. Just is the play. Mainly because the height of this in that pan, this thing is gonna make a huge mess if I try to immersion blend it, so I'm not gonna try it. I'm gonna set myself up for success. All I have to do is just safely transfer it into this with no issues whatsoever. Believe to achieve. And by the way, you can skip this step. You don't have to blend this, but it is like a better texture or more universally liked texture. And to that, we're going to add some cilantro, just a big handful of that, and we'll pop in coconut milk. Which actually it almost looks like too much coconut milk to me, but it's just gonna be more delicious. All right, carefully we will put this back into the pan, and oh yes, that's the correct texture. And now that we have that going, we can add in our chickpeas. And as I suspected, I think this could use another can. That's right, more chickpeas for your enjoyment. All right, this time we're gonna drain the chickpeas. We don't need that liquid. We'll go ahead and pop those in. And we're gonna add some Garam Masala. Maybe that's it. Stir it in, and that looks a little bit better. Oh yeah, that looks really good. All right, definitely need some salt. And I will say that there's a little bit of bitterness, which I'm not sure where that's coming from. Could just be the spinach, for example. But also, like when you make a homemade version of this and you're used to, like, let's say the restaurant version, we did not put a metric load of butter or sugar in this. Oh yeah. So it just definitely needed salt. I think that we'll finish this with lemon juice when we serve it, and it'll be quite nice. I do think it's important to point out in the Chana Saag that you do want to like stew the chickpeas in this for a while because they'll pick up more of the flavor and they'll also soften a bit. And you never know what you're going to get with canned chickpeas. These are like a little bit more al dente than I would have expected. And you can see I'm doing a great job of keeping my spoons separate between the recipes. That's right, they've all been in the spinach. All right, so we're plating one plate for 2 different episodes. And we're gonna do a little bit of yin and yang. Got our Chana Saag on one side, and on our other, our aloo matar, which I think together will be quite tasty. And I said I was gonna add some lemon juice on the saag. Let's try our Chana Saag. We made a nice mild saag, just a hint of chili, like the chili just barely comes through, but you know it's there. My only take on this is I would let it stew longer so the chickpeas could soften further. They're a little al dente for my personal preferences. But really, really tasty, and I'm pretty sure this is healthy. But anyways, that's how you do it. I recommend making this sometime, but give yourself more time to do it. Okay, bye.